51-year-old Casey Wang is a contemporary visual artist. He was also a pro-democracy activist in Hong Kong. In the past decade, his protest art has appeared in many anti-government demonstrations. Wang says after China imposed a draconian national security law on the former British colony last July, Hong Kong became shrouded in fear. He checked social media every morning to see if friends had been arrested overnight. After finding himself on a list of cultural undesirables in a pro-Beijing newspaper, Wang accelerated his escape to Taiwan.
I have to leave Hong Kong in order to have an independent voice. Nobody wants to live in a city that constantly provides fear.
Data from Taiwan's National Immigration Agency show that the number of Hong Kongers relocating to Taiwan is on the rise. In 2020, the figure almost doubled from the year before to more than 10,000 people, a record. And in the first 7 months of 2021, more than 5,000 Hong Kongers arrived in Taiwan. Luo Zhizhen, a legislator with Taiwan's ruling Democratic Progressive Party, says there are enough mechanisms in place to help those fleeing Hong Kong on a case-by-case basis. Luo says passing an asylum law would be a national security risk because it would open up the island's borders to passport holders from around the world, including those from China.
When it comes to the people from mainland China, I think it's more complicated and it's more sensitive because it's very likely that there could be spies, pretending to be refugees and wants to come to Taiwan.
But human rights groups said the current policy makes it too difficult for Hong Kongers to obtain permanent residency, especially those eligible for work permits. They say without an asylum law, the island's policy toward Hong Kong and China could easily shift, depending on which political party is in power.
The DPP government has shown goodwill towards these Hong Kongers, but will the future government follow suit in lieu of an asylum law? Therefore, we think that a refugee law is important in institutionalizing a permanent asylum framework.
Observers say Taipei lacks a law for refugee and asylum seekers because it is afraid of provoking Beijing.
The law will apply to none but foreigners, yet the idea of listing people from Hong Kong, Macau and China as foreigners will largely offend China. This has become a highly controversial political taboo.
Ling says Taiwan seldom denies entry to asylum seekers unless national security risks are present or the legal ground is weak. Taiwan is moving to relax restrictions for high school students from Hong Kong and Macau seeking to study in Taiwan beginning in September next year, a way to help teenage exiles. Joyce Huang for VOA News, Taipei.